for a higher GC News. Mima Obibia Akwaba. Latest hot news and I'm a bravo. Now, answer is something in our bebano. Pomodi say over subscribe to channel. Now, while like video, give us a thumbs up. Nafi Sheba or Fufrosuna when you be here. Now, who is someone Elcoso El Ghana Memohanum. I feel you share a year and somewhere abeto yaponoso. You could see a year Sansamoya Kosui, Momaintia a Yankomoya Kosui.
So these are the 6 people that he says he will charge by the end of the month. Put that on the screen. Aremeyaw Anas, the former finance minister, whom the special prosecutor describes as the mastermind, the brain behind this entire SML deal. NS Akore, chef de cabinet to Aremeyaw Ofori Atta as Minister of State, that's the Minister of Finance. Emmanuel Kofi Nti, former Commissioner General of the Ghana Revenue Authority. Reverend Amishadai Owusu Amoa, former Commissioner General of the Ghana Revenue Authority, and you should take note of all the others, all the positions they held in the GRA. And that's also another area to look at. Isaac Krentil is a former commissioner of the Customs Division of Ghana Revenue Authority. He is the general manager of the SML, but he was a former commissioner of the GRA. Kojo Kyeremanteng, also a former commissioner of Customs of the Ghana Revenue Authority, and he is currently the member of parliament for the German South constituency. These are the 6 people, and you heard the special prosecutor's verdict on this, that essentially there was no reason why this deal should have even gone through and the monies that were paid. He says he's pursuing the SML to recover some 125 million cedis that the company has to pay to the state because of all this.
That is not enough. The OSP must have the deal. They themselves know they have stolen from us and they must bring it. You see?
They will have to.
No, the OSP has to have the game.
Why? What do you mean?
He said they themselves.
The SML, those that have been accused, they know that monies are missing. You understand? Because the point is that Ken Ofori Atta, as the former finance minister, has run away from the country. Nobody does anything good and runs away. This is the land of his mouth.
Why is he went for medical attention?
When was the last time you had a briefing on it that the Mayo Clinic is saying that he's going to recover in October or December? They have stopped briefing us. Nobody is briefing us again. My difficulty with the SMD, and I've said it on public countless occasions, that if you look at how NPP operates with the ERDMS, that's the Enterprise Relational Database Management System, how it is linked to the ICOMS, nobody born under the sun can convince me that we needed another entity called revenue assurance. Now, indeed, if you go back and check the documentary that was done by Manas Azuri, this morning I took my time to watch it back, and you listen to Christian Sochi, the general manager, I don't know whether he said the manager of SML. Clearly, you could see that the company, the stated objectives of the company was not what they were pursuing. One, they said they were going in for what? To discover underreporting, diversion, and dilution. When he was posed the question, are you involved? I said, no, we are not into that. We are not into diversion, we are not into underreporting, we are not into dilution. So if you are not into underreporting, on what basis were you assuring us of any revenue? On what basis? Now, if you know the petroleum sector very well, the point that you can actually estimate how much tax is due the state is, what do you call it, the sales point, the pumps, where we all buy fuel. Once again, when they were asked, where do you, as it were, place your meters, they say at the depot. At the depot, who establishes how much is paid to the state? Because at the depot, it has not been sold to the general public. So for me, this whole thing comes back to what we have been doing, like what we did in the Kennedy GVG, the system, the telecommunications sector was not having any problems, but someone had to chop, so they had to create a system there in the name of revenue assurance. You go to the Nitai, Smarting Frapo. Someone has to create something there. Then at the end of the day, we lose out on some of these things. When Sotie again was asked, have you been able to save this country of 3 billion? He said, no, we have not saved anything. We have not saved any country, this country, any such amount. And that he has nothing to do with the website. A general manager of a company tells us that he does not even know how much they charge the state. Yes. So what was he managing? And that is my difficulty with this transaction. So if the office of the special prosecutor is saying that he's closing in on, we are here. Though I don't believe that anything will come out of it. I'll give you the benefit of the doubt.
Why do you say you don't believe anything? He's indicated he's going to charge.
He has been indicated since what he's going to charge.
He's done extensive investigation.
Between 2018 till date, we have expended close to $1 billion on that office. How much have we recovered from that office? Even when we saw millions of dollars under the bed of Cecilia Dapa, that matter turned into beans.
How do you say it turned into beans?
Cecilia Dapa, the money was physical.
But that case is not dead. It's an active case.
Oh, it's dead. When we asked Cecilia Dapa where they got the money, we heard Admochi tell us that the brother died and the funeral was so big that they could rake in that money. We have been in this country where people have told us this.
This is an active case in court.
Which one?
So what are you saying is dead?
Oh, when was the last I heard anything about it?
For that we don't have update doesn't mean the case.
So the point is that I don't have any trust or confidence in this OSP and the office. At best, that office must be scrapped. With this budgetary allocation given to the Attorney General, if the Attorney General is unable to recruit more lawyers, by virtue of that, he could recruit more qualified lawyers to help the state. And rather than what we are doing, small time when we push him small on Ken Ofori Atta, the next thing you hear is press conference. Just to come and weather the storm. Then you go and sit back like a month. When he hears that there's pressure, then he can. When all of us know that Ken Ofori Atta must be in this country. We are talking about the National Cathedral. How much did he spend? We are talking about PDS. How much did he spend there? Well, he has borrowed. He led this country to borrow $13.5 billion. You understand? The man says he won't come back to the country. The last time you heard something from him was through the wife. That the husband was doing okay and that he was going to come. So what are we doing? Well, so please.
She said he was walking gingerly and was recovering. After the surgery.
The man is very fit. When you get to Washington, he's chilling everywhere.
Have you seen him?
I saw a beautiful picture of him. He has not denied. None of his lawyers have denied. When this matter started, his lawyers started issuing letters every day. They were giving us daily updates.
No, but if you make a emphatic statement that he's somewhere chilling.
As we are speaking, he's watching us through a pseudo account.
How do you know this? How do you
he
know
must
this?
come home and let us deal with ourselves.
Martin Kpebu is a private legal practitioner. He's joining us on. In fact, he's been watching you right from the get-go of this program, and he's joining us on Zoom today because he had to attend to other equally important issues outside of the jurisdiction. Counsel, good morning. Thank you for joining us.
Morning, Mr. Kansi.
Well, you are one of those who believe that this trial in absentia must start. Solomon Owusu says Ken Ofori Atta must come back in person for this whole process to start. Counsel.
No. Mr. Owusu, I vehemently disagree with you. You see, yes, I understand the accountability you want. That's in-person accountability. Ofori Atta should come himself. Yes. Thankfully for us, there are a number of cases against him. There are 6, right? Mm-hmm. So we can eventually do the other one.
Counsel, if you could move into the middle for me in a bit. Thank you. No, the other side. Perfect. Thank you very much.
Yeah. So, Mr. Owusu, the key thing we have to watch is that right now, we've not been able to freeze Mr. Ofori Atta's assets. And so it means that as we are talking right now, it's even possible that he's signing agreements to sell the shares in data bank, the shares in enterprise insurance, the many assets he has. That is where our target should be. So we need this case to enter court quickly. And just before we enter, the law allows OSP to freeze the assets. And then after about 2 weeks, go back into court and get a longer duration for the freezing of the assets. So this is very key. Very, very key. And that's how I've been saying that Kisi Agyapong has been very, very incompetent on this Ofori Atta case. You know, the man has many assets in Ghana. Manasseh did this work for 1 year, December 2022 to December 2023. When Manasseh presented a petition to the OSP, Manasseh and then Aziamo Mensah and then Adobia, the other lady, 3 journalists. So this petition against Ofori Atta was presented December 2023. So by December 2024, OSP had this petition for 1 year. 1 year. And OSP sat on his hands, pussyfooting, kukwasa, so much so that now we believe this is criminal negligence. Criminal negligence. How could you have had a petition for 1 year before the elections? All right, or just after the election? The petition was presented in December 2023. So please, even if it's not before 7 December, look, it doesn't matter, right? Let's think December is December. We can say 1 year, right? Then OSP sat on this petition. It's criminal negligence, almost suggesting of collusion between OSP and Ofori Atta. It's almost, there's suspicion. It's suspicion of collusion, because you can't have this petition for 1 year and not invite Ofori Atta and then allow Ofori Atta to travel after the handing over twice. How? That's what I'm saying. This Kisi Agyapong and the OSP will have to pay dearly for this kind of dereliction of duty, this kind of criminal negligence. How? 1 year. Now, the key thing we need to emphasize is this. We all know Manasseh's pedigree. Manasseh took 1 year to do investigations. 1 year, that's December 2022 to December 2023. So it's Kisi Agyapong and the rest of OSP telling us that they couldn't rely a bit on Manasseh's investigations. That's one. Then number 2, even KPMG, who were appointed in January 2024. They also did their this an audit, the forensic audit, etc. Right? And then they even sought extension. But long story short, by March, they were done. March, April, they were done. So Kisi is saying that all this while, he couldn't learn from the Manasseh investigation, couldn't learn from the KPMG investigation, and he took all the time in this world. And even is proud to tell us that as of the time Ofori Atta was leaving Ghana in January, was any case against him. Mr. Okansi,
yes,
these beggars believe that as of January 2021, when Ofori Atta was leaving this country, he did not know that there was any case against him. You see why the suspicion of collusion? How? Even a baby in Ghana would know that Ofori Atta and President Akufo Addo would be the first people to answer questions once there is a change in government.
On that suspicion of collusion.
And his US,
on that one,
sorry, yes,
I can't stay on that part because Daniel Domelovo is on the other line as well. Kpebu, stay on that part, because on that path of collusion, Mr. Domelovo, you hear the special prosecutor talk about what SML was brought in to do, what was not done, the persons who have to answer. And now the president has taken a decision. In fact, there was just one component of the entire SML GRA agreement or the contract that was still running, because after the KPMG audit, a number of them were suspended. But it was just one of them that was still running, which the president has just issued a statement yesterday asking that that be terminated. The OSP says by the end of the month of November, these persons will be charged. Kpebu, in fact, he's not the only one who thinks this way, that at this point, the OSP has done what has to be done, but it's probably too little too late, because Ken Ofori Atta is out of the jurisdiction. And it will be difficult if we have to go through the process of extradition to have him come and answer in person, as some are clamoring for. Mr. Nemovo, what's your take on this?
The whole SML deal is one of the examples of create, loot, and share.
Create, loot, and share.
Clearly, yes, create, loot, and share. Clearly, SML did not have even the competence or the capacity to do the revenue assurance that they were talking about. Remember the rejections that the PPA has to do not once, twice or so, which led to even the change of the company's name and then imposing them on NetBlue, or I've forgotten the name of the other company. So I think the whole thing is something else. But you see, apart from that wrong procurement process that happened in SML, I also think, and I expressed opinion those days, that engaging of KPMG was a further misuse of our public funds.
How do you say that?
Because I'm coming. Because KPMG is not a public sector auditor. We have Auditor General who was in existence, and the office is still in existence. KPMG did not have the mandate to be able to disallow and surcharge. If the Auditor General had gone in and saw that procurement rules, etc., or expenditures were contrary to law, they could have disallowed and surcharged, which KPMG could not do. But then the government decided to go through that approach. And at the end of the day, you will even see contradictions in KPMG, their own findings. At times, the things they say don't even add up, which makes it very disturbing, because in Ghana, we tend to believe in the big four, so-called big four. But mind you, you may be an expert in private sector auditing, but that doesn't make you an expert in public sector auditing. Public sector accounting and auditing are different ball games from the private sector. Even the standards we use, the laws we use, they are all different. But people hear those names and start jumping for them. And I even positioned that KPMG was even procured wrongly. Did they also go through the competitive process, or they are the only auditing firm that existed? So there are a lot of challenges there. But what disturbs me is that the special prosecutor is going to hold about only 6 people accountable. I thought there should be a lot more people complicit in this. Well, I must first disclose that the list he has brought up even already disturbs me a bit, because the 2 people, what do you call it? Damwa was my classmate. Krenzel was also my classmate. So 2 people there are my classmates.
I see.
And Christian Soti was my boss when he was the accountant general. I was a director in accountant general. But I think that we should open the net a bit wider. I don't think it is only these 6 people who are culpable. Definitely there are chief tax inspectors or directors, etc., who would have also approved or look aside for all these things to happen. When we don't do that, they always run away with it, and at the end of the day, we don't get our money back. But I cannot agree more with Martin Kpebu that the speed with which we are attacking this is as if we like it. If such an infraction has happened and government thought it was not good, because first and foremost, what is the job of GRA? You mean they don't have revenue assurance unit? If they cannot assure revenue, then why are they there? If it is a matter of lack of capacity, it's just a matter of training. Do we have to outsource it to an organization with 0 experience? This is mind-boggling. We don't run any organization like that. It's because Daniel doesn't know how to drive. So you want to engage somebody who doesn't also know how to drive to take over the vehicles. Is that what we do? Don't you teach Daniel how to drive? So I think the speed and the way we are handling these corruption issues leaves a lot to be desired. And if the special prosecutor is going to court, he should go to court. But if he has left out some other people, he should bring them on board, so that we uproot it fully, not just a few people as a scapegoat.
Well, you talk about.
I also want to get permission from you.
Yes. Just a quick one. You talk about the speed. He is indicated that he's been meticulous. He knows what he's about. He's gone through a painstaking investigation. He's ready to charge them. That's the modus he's using.
Yes, but it doesn't satisfy us. We are also stakeholders. Some of us have also been involved in serious investigations. You remember that audit that we do is basically an investigation, more or less. So we have done investigation of more complex. This is a very simple case. I think its investigation cannot go on for all these years. So I agree with Martin there that the pace is unnecessarily slow. Mind you, the whole country is supposed to be audited and reported on within 6 months after the end of the financial year. And you are talking about only SML contract, then the speed is too slow. If it is a capacity issue, then you may have to also revisit his capacity. Please, I have to leave you. Thank you.
Indeed, and I thank you very much. Your point is extensively made. I don't think there's really anything left out of what you have said. Martin Kpebu was making that point about, that all of the delay and the suspicion that it creates, and what the special prosecutor has come out to say now, and what the way forward will be. In fact, there's been the development of the president issuing that statement for the cancellation of the contract. That's the only remaining component of the GRA SML contract as of yesterday. Gone.
Thank you, man. You see, if you look at this SML thing, and then if you look at Ofori Atta, and then if you look at OSP, you can come to conclusion that the OSP seems to be overly zealous when it comes to Ofori Atta. It looks like there is a personal, what is between them seems to be a little bit personal, and there's a theory floating that as finance minister, Ofori Atta did not treat the OSP very well. And so because of that, that is because I'm asking a question. When you look at everything saying, the OSP also seems to be engaged in a tunnel vision, a very narrow tunnel vision when it comes to Ofori Atta. People have said this. His theory seems to be that unless and until he sees Ofori Atta fully in this country, there's nothing he can do. He makes it look like he has no other tools at his disposal to get justice for this country. But there are other tools. People have done PhDs, defended PhDs on on Zoom and past. Multinational billion-dollar contracts have been signed over Zoom. The United Nations has held hearings, special hearings, legal hearings on Zoom. Why is the OSP not even anticipating or not even thinking about alternative means of bringing this man to justice except the man comes here physically? Why is he looking for that particular habeas corpus? Why? Why can't he say that, look, why can't he send a crack team of investigators to go to Washington, sit down with this guy and talk to him? Why can't he do that? Why can't he say, let's do over Zoom? My point is that his inability or unwillingness to consider any other means of bringing this man to justice may lead to what we see. Because we are always afraid of null. 1 year is gone. Then you start investigating. Before you realize, you say charge. Now, secondly, how many press conferences do you have to tell us before you charge this guy? How many of them? You held the first one, okay. Why didn't you charge him after that? You held the second one. Why didn't you charge him after that? Then you are holding the third one to tell us you will charge him. Why not charge him before tell us? I mean, so that's what I'm saying, that there seems to be an obsession there. But there's a point here about this, and I'm saying that I'm not a lawyer. But if you go with these SML things, I can begin to see a defense coming up. One, the argument is that right now is that SML has not done any work. The argument two is that they have not done. Now, there is a letter here from the GRA itself, written to your lawyer, Aremeyaw. Yeah. It has been made public. The questions to the GRA was, did SML do the work you said it should do? GRA says, yes, they've done the work. The letter is here. You can read it. You've seen it. So there are two narratives. Did SML do the work? GRA says, yes, they did the work. You are saying they didn't do the work. Now, I'm thinking, if I'm a judge and you present these documents to me, that is reasonable doubt right there. That appears to me as reasonable doubt. Because now there's also the KPMG. So now you have KPMG and GRA all seems to be saying that work was done. And now you have OSP saying work is not done. If you present this to a lawyer, I'm not a judge, I'm not saying this, but it looks to me as enough or some amount of grounds for what? Reasonable doubt. Now, when you do this and you now lose a case, you will now come back and say, let's blame the judiciary. My point is that, Mr. OSP, yes, thank you, enough of the talk. If you have something wrong with this guy, why don't you just go ahead and present your case to court? And take this, because I'm saying that I won't believe, look, the lawyers, if you are a lawyer, already have these documents, they're going to go and they're going to ask us questions. Hey, we've done some work. So now you cannot talk about the amount of work done, amount of payment. But to then say that no work was done when the organization itself is saying that work has been done.
Well, you see, that is what for the courts to prove, and that's why.
No, I indicate because the GRA themselves say work has been done.
Yes, you said that will obviously be adduced as evidence, okay, as one of the points of defense by the lawyers of all the persons who have been named in this, especially SML, because they have also issued a statement responding to some of the issues that the special prosecutor put out there. So, to the extent that the GRA has written this, OSP says we've done extensive investigation. He took, in fact, almost 2 hours to give full details of what they have found based on the investigation, what the SML was contracted to do. And in fact, he fed on quite a number of things that Manasseh Azure, who's going to be joining us in a bit, has already put out in the documentary, the investigation that he did. So much of what the OSP said 3 days ago, if you have followed what Manasseh has put out over the period, was not entirely new. Kpebu, that's the GRA position on this. And this is coming from the GRA itself, saying that SML indeed did the work it was contracted for. And I have a copy of that said letter that they wrote, that the clarification, it goes on, they also disclosed that all payments to SML within the stated period were properly documented, with payment schedules complied with, compiled, and reconciled. Counsel, it brings up whether or not this particular position espoused by the OSP takes into consideration or the OSP should be responding again to the GRS position on this matter because of this latest revelation in the statement or the letter that the GRA has written, which has been made public now. We have a copy of.
Yeah, Mr. Kansi.
Can you move to the middle a bit for me, please? Yes. I can hear you. Unfortunately, Martin Kpebu's connection, we lost him in a bit. We'll try to reconnect with him to get that direct connection. But there was another point that the OSP made as well on what he had found beyond the persons that is going to charge. We'll hear that statement from the OSP, what he said 3 days ago, the other portion of this press conference where he indicated what he has found, and then also the fact that GRA did not actually pay, so they didn't demand some 13 million Ghana cedis in taxes on the SML payments. That is one of the findings that the SML, that's the OSP also put out, uncovering significant tax irregularities in the automatic payments made by the GRA to SML for downstream petroleum audit services. So although they are coming out to make this defense, there's also this portion about the OSP itself implicating the Ghana Revenue Authority for failing to deduct over 13 million cedis in taxes on the SML payments. This is what SML also put out in their statement. On the contract and mandate, they said they were engaged by the GRA to undertake a risk and reward framework that's paid only for verified rewards. Let's move to the next slide. So all payments made were after verification by GRA, and then the systems have delivered measurable results. 20 billion, they say, in verified revenue for the state. Well, that is the account of SML, that they have done the work. 20 billion in verified revenue to the state. GRA also says Well, we corroborate what SML is saying. They've done what we contracted them to do. So where's the issue?
Okay. Can you hear me?
I can hear you clearly.
Yeah. So let's refer. There are some paragraphs in the report where OSP directly answers both GRA and SML. You would find that when SML was taken over from West Blue, for several months, okay, several months in 2019, July, August, September, October, etc. SML did not work. They were still trying to onboard. They were having challenges with West Blue. SML couldn't do their work, and yet they were paid. There are specific paragraphs. Unfortunately for me, I'm using the same phone. Please, I read it. Maybe let those who have read, they will mention the paragraph numbers to you. Okay? After 100. Yes, okay. After 100.
I'm pulling that up now.
Yes. After 140, from 140, 141 to 150, that area is very rich with material. Let's repeat. You would find that for several months in 2019, when SML was trying to come on board, they did not do any work, and yet Ofori Atta wrote to the controller and accountant general to have them paid. So that's where OSP saying that Ofori Atta has questions to answer. Ofori Atta has questions to answer. An organization that is still coming on board has not been able to do any work, and you say they should pay them. That's one. Number two, when you look at the paragraphs again, you would find that before SML is paid any money, they are supposed to, one, present a report on the work done. Present a report on the work done. That's what the contract requires. So that same will be verified, and before they are paid, that was not done. So when SML has not presented a report on work done, it does not lie in the mouth of GRA to deceive Ghanaians that SML did the work. Where is the report? And remember, this is not the first time. KPMG also flagged it, that they didn't find those reports of work done before they were paid. Then number two, the invoices SML was supposed to invoice. Where are those? Can you hear me, Mr. Okansi?
I can hear you clearly, sir.
Good. So let's continue. And then you would find that in actual fact, the contract itself is illegal because, Kofinti left office on 1st October 2018. 1st October 2018. And yet he signed this contract on the 3rd of October. A public officer who has retired, you've gone home, 1st October. On what authority did Kofinti, former commissioner of GRA, sign the letter on the 3rd of October? He had no capacity to sign. So that's an illegal contract. And any money paid under it, ipso facto, illegal. Then let's go to the fourth point. When you watch the Manasseh documentary, Christian Soti, and I'm happy Solomon Owusu referred to it, Christian Soti was asked, and he said they don't do that work. That is what Christian Soti said. They don't do those transaction audit work. He says they don't do it. He is in charge. They don't do it. So at what point did they do any work?
Doesn't that raise questions about the GRA's letter and the position they've taken that despite the CEO of this same company saying they said work that they were even contracted to do, they don't do, based on the documentary of Manasseh. And the GRA says, well, what we contracted them to do, they have done.
Now, the GRA letter is false because when you watch the Manasseh documentary, please, you will find another GRA employee who said that they don't use the data generated by SML because it's not accurate. Please, watch. You will see a GRA official. He told Manasseh Azure Awuni, and Manasseh is alive. The GRA officer presumably is alive. So I believe by now, OSP would have interviewed the officer. He said it that they don't use the data generated by SML. And then let's go further. SML, the director of IT, Mohammed something, I think it's Mohammed or something. Also, let's watch the documentary. You see, he was asked that between the SML equipment and the GRA MPA equipment, which are better? He said the GRA/MPA equipment are better. Their flow meters and those things are not the best. So who is going to use their data? Please, I think we should play the whole of the Manasseh documentary. You see the SML, director of IT, the man in charge of those equipment. Manasseh asked him, between your equipment and GRA MPA equipment, which are better? He said GRA MPA. Please, so that seals it. So this letter from GRA, please, who signed it? Who signed the GRA letter?
One moment. It was signed by the head of legal, Freeman Saba, dated October 14, 2025. Lawyer.
Yes, we have questions to answer. Thank you very much that it is not Mr. Sapom, the current head of GRA, who signed it. Thank you. So this Freeman Saba and the people who gave him the information, all of them have to be hauled in to answer questions that they are part of the conspiracy. They are part of the conspiracy because how? Even the KPMG report says that the work was partially delivered. And this is where I disagree with Dr. Zaato. Dr. Zaato, did you read the KPMG report? They said all the work was partially done. They didn't say fully done. Partially. And that's where even the KPMG was supposed to have given us further and better particulars of the partially done work. But at least for me, for now, we've shown that if you read the OSP report, as I said, from paragraph 140 onwards to 157, you would see that SML had not started work when Ofori Atta said they should be paid. They must be paid. They must be paid. And then that's the letter to controller. And that was done. That is why Ofori Atta has questions to answer. In the same way, in that report, you find that SML did not have expertise for the upstream petroleum measurement. That one to yet, Ofori Atta caused letters to be written to GNPC, etc., extolling the expertise of SML. Those are the reasons why Ofori Atta is part of this criminal conspiracy to loot us, to steal, etc. So those who are saying, oh, Ofori Atta didn't sign any agreement, Ofori Atta is not part, please read the OSP report. You will see how he asked that SML be paid when SML have not done work, how he was causing letters to be written to GNPC, Ministry of Lands and Forestry, and Ministry of Energy. Now, SML, hey, they are more than Maradona, maybe Lionel Messi. They are the best in the field. No unchallenged, unparalleled, uncontested. All these things were lies. These are the things that helped in getting more, this is the upstream contract to be done. Yes, it doesn't matter that we've not yet taken money. In law, is a criminal intent. So that part, it will be a conspiracy when you form the crime in your head, all right, and expressed it. That's the crime. It doesn't matter that we've not yet paid for the upstream part of the contract, the consolidated contract. It doesn't matter that we've not yet paid the $100 million a year for the upstream one. No, it doesn't matter. For conspiracy, the moment you plan it, okay, so it leaves your head. It's not just your thoughts, your dreams, but you actuate, you begin to take steps to do it. It doesn't matter that you didn't finally succeed in getting paid. It doesn't matter. Once you took physical steps, and when I say physical, it's not only walking. If with your math on paper, you write, do this, do that, you deceive public officers to give SML a contract in that regard, the conspiracy element is well made out. And so Ofori Atta will be answering dearly for this. He and the GRA commissioner, Amishadai Usabwaji, the Reverend.
So the 140, the paragraph 140 that you referenced, it says in the OSP reports, first, a clearly dictated without prejudice response was sent to the senior minister by SML in a letter dated 20th April 2020. This letter was copied to the Minister of Finance and the Commissioner General of the GRA. SML sought to distinguish its purported service from ICOM's, and it mounted a defense of its contract by calling up its termination provisions. In fairness to SML on this matter, the senior minister's notification and directive would have come as a very startling surprise of a grave breach of contract. If that were the case, it was SML's own public official promoters, sponsors, and patrons that had kept it in the dark and placed it in that unhappy state of ignorance of the government policy on ICOMs by not serving the 28 September 2018 notice of discontinuation on it. In the letter, SML also requested the senior minister to take a second look at his directive, as if it was his singular action to discontinue the services. The OSP did not find any evidence of a response by the senior minister to SML's 20th April 2020 letter. The senior minister probably had no desire to engage in such a pointless debate. In June 2020, the public officials, promoters, sponsors, and patrons of SML decided to act, by which time Reverend Owusu Amoah had fully joined the conspiracy. He had assumed office as the head of GRA on October 1, 2019, and without seeing a single invoice backed by a verified report from SML in respect of the transaction audit, went ahead to do the payment. So, Kpebu, it just goes ahead to buttress the point that you were making earlier. Just a quick response, because I need to.
What Martin is saying, it actually confirms the point I'm making about the fact that it may be difficult in a criminal case to raise a case with a reasonable doubt. Mm-hmm. You said, Martin, you are saying that we should read the report by the OSP. You're also saying I should read the report by what? KPMG. I agree. So maybe that is what you will use to try to make your case. But then there's another report by GRA itself. Here is what I'm saying, that there's something weird, incoherent, and illogic about what the OSP is saying and what GRA is saying. GRA contracted SML to do work for them. GRA is saying that the work I contracted you, you've done it, and I've paid you. OSP did not contract SML. So on what capacity can OSP say GRA did not do the work? No, but investigate what? I hire you as, let me put it this way, I hire you as my watchman. You come to her, then I say every day you've come to my house. I've seen you in my house, you've come to watch my house, and I've paid you at the end of the month. Now, you are saying that you didn't come to my house. Is it your house? It's my house, and I'm saying yes, come. GRA says we contracted these people to come and do the work.
It's not that simple. Okay.
No, but I'm saying that you see, because it's not simple, it is that lack of simplicity that may lead to what inability to establish beyond reasonable doubt.
How is that? That's why the OSP was clear in his words. Mm-hmm. He has done extensive investigation.
Does the OSP have the technology to do this work, to do this investigation?
Are you questioning the OSP?
Yes, I'm doing. I'm questioning everything he said, because the point I'm making is that
competence to do this work.
Pardon?
Their competence to have
conducted. Yes, I'm doing that because I'm saying the GRA is more competent to do this work than the GRA, if you ask me. And that is why they went into a contract. And they are saying that we have contracted to this work. You finished the work. We've paid you these monies. Now, I'm saying that if you go with these two reports, which one would you believe? But there's a bigger issue we are not addressing as a country.
Which is what?
And it's this. It's the Milky Way. Something where you have public servants who are in the public sector. They retire today. Tomorrow, they are in the private sector. With all this expertise, some of them are working in the military, intelligence, and very sensitive national security and national security. They immediately work when they leave, they go there. In other countries, like the United States, for instance, there's a lot, it even includes senators and secretaries and congressmen. There's a period that is established when you come out to stay home for some time, and then you need to be cleared before you can go to the private sector. So if you're the chief of defense staff of the United States, if you're the CIA director, if you're the FBI director, the state believes that you hold certain sensitive information that should not immediately go to the highest bidder. So when you come out of power, they let you stay home for some time. Then after that, you are vetted and you have to be approved to work for the private sector. We don't do that. So you see that almost all these people were those at the GRA. They just finished and they went and established it. It's a topic we need to have. It's a discussion we need to have going forward. Should we do that? Should we allow them? Because sometimes they are regulators. you were the regulator of this, then immediately you are done. You can go, you are working for them. Now, I don't think we have any law that gives us a place for them to pause, for them to be vetted, for them to go. We should look at, because if we don't look at it, it will become one of the easiest ways where this is done. There are things we should do, but for me, when you have different reports, some say they've done it, and especially the man who contracted them say they've done the work, and now whatever report we are bringing, it just seems to show that no, I will take the report of the GRA itself over any other report.
Thanks for watching. Like and share the video. You can also drop your comment. Please don't forget to subscribe. Click on the bell to turn on the notification.